big chunk out of his ear.
How long did it take to make it?
Hi Squirrel lovers, I'm Chelsea. I have more than 60,000 photos and videos of squirrels. The other day, I had a Zoom chat with Nancy Rose, the author of The Secret Life of Squirrels. I just really enjoyed talking about squirrels with a fellow squirrel lover. In this video, I'm sharing some of our conversation about squirrels. It's not an interview, just two squirrel lovers discussing squirrels. I personally enjoy listening to others talk about squirrels, so I thought you might enjoy it too. Nancy showed me her office and backyard, so you can get a glimpse of the secret life of Nancy Rose. You also get to see some of her amazing dioramas. We talked about what we feed squirrels, the difference between red squirrels and fox squirrels, and so on. Watch our chat, laugh, learn, disagree, and most of all, enjoy!
Hi.
Hi. How are you, Chelsea?
Nancy, very nice to meet you.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Your background is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Nice.
I love this, the fairy theme. I thought it suits squirrels.
Oh, perfect. Oh, perfect. Oh, it's so good to see you in person.
Yes. Yeah, same here. Thank you so much for agreeing to talk about squirrels with me.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. It's just really cool to meet somebody else who finds squirrels as fascinating as we do.
Yes, totally. Generally, I enjoy talking about squirrels, but if I do this with a squirrel lover, it's so much fun. Yes, because I get asked, why do you like squirrels always?
Right.
Right.
And what's the answer?
Yeah, my answer is mainly because they make me happy and calm, and they also make others happy. And also, I feel like I'm related to squirrels.
In your other life?
I mean, I'm tiny and I'm bold and shy. I also love peanuts.
Oh, very good. Well, that sounds like me too. Yeah.
And I even stash food.
Okay. Not under the couch or anything, I hope.
No, in my pocket. I've done in my pocket. And
right.
I forgot about it. And in one day morning, I found the peanuts on the bed.
Well, I have found them in my coat pockets too, because I'll go outdoors and I'll put the peanuts out, and then I may not leave all of them out, so the rest are in my pocket. And then the next day I go for a walk and reach in, there's the peanuts.
It's very important to carry peanuts.
For sure. Yes. Well, I was hoping my squirrels would be busy today. Some days they're really busy outside, but I see one right now. Would you like to see my squirrel?
Oh, yeah,
Let me see. Can I do this? I turn that around.
Yes. Wow.
Let's see. Can I zoom? He just jumped. He was in a little house. He just jumped out. They haven't been coming around much today. It's been really, really windy and cold.
Oh, yeah.
Now he knows the peanuts are there. Yeah, he'll come back. But I just thought I had to put something out there.
Sure.
In case he comes.
I just saw one a little bit. Is that a red squirrel? Or what kind of squirrel?
Yes. So we have, I guess they're called American red squirrels. Somebody on my Facebook page called them Douglas squirrels. But I looked it up because I wasn't sure what a Douglas squirrel was. And I think Douglas squirrels live on the West Coast, British Columbia area. And they look the same, except they have sort of a golden ring around their eye and a more golden color belly, orangey gold, whereas ours have a white belly and a white ring around their eye.
Oh,
but
interesting.
Some of mine are, they are different colors, and some are a little more yellow. So maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a combination.
Maybe. Yeah, I only have fox squirrels around here. But
they're big.
And even same fox squirrels, the grade of the colors are different.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. They're so much different than our little ones, because our little ones, some people think they're chipmunks because they're so small. Here comes the squirrel again. See if I can catch him. Yeah. So I'm running the deck floor. Oh, he's on the
yes.
fence.
Yeah.
I did put the peanuts inside so the blue jays wouldn't take them all.
Oh, great idea.
Usually the birds will just come and take them all.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
Wow.
but yeah, the little house moves around. They ruin it every now and then. I have to bring it in and glue it all back together, but it's always kind of fun. So that's sort of my little area. I'm in my computer room. Oops, you can't see it because I don't have it on. And so I can look out my window and I can see and take the pictures through the window. I can open up my windows, which works good in the winter.
Yeah.
So how about you? Where do you take your pictures mostly?
So I take photos and videos at UC Berkeley a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but nowadays I can't visit there. So I have 3 balcony squirrels who visit me every day. So, and one of them, Summer, already visited this morning.
So do they come all day long, or do you find they come more like breakfast and lunch and supper or something like that?
Yeah, so Summer, especially since she's a mom, she comes like 2 to 3 times a day and has a lot of food each time.
Yes.
And yeah, there's a squirrel power struggle here. Like there's a boss squirrel and
struggle, right?
Yeah, and Sally is the boss. So when he's here, he kicks everyone out. So other squirrels try to visit me when he's not around.
And one like that, isn't there? Somebody who's the dominant one.
Yeah.
I have usually about 6 that tend to come in, but most days maybe there'll be 4, but then I'll look out and I'll see 6. And if I put seeds in enough different places, then they're all happy.
Yeah.
It's some theirs first and then wants everybody else's. So then there's always a fight. But I think most of the ones that are coming were born last summer. So they're really starting to figure out that when I come outdoors, I bring the food. And so then they clue in and they start coming to look. And now they're starting to figure out when I put stuff outdoors that that's where the food's going to be hidden. So they're working out. They're becoming good little actors.
Yeah.
I'll show you again my window.
Yeah.
But I suppose just making it look quite wide, and that just really is on ground level. It's, I suppose it's about 16 feet wide, I guess. But I have feeders over in the tree.
Wow, your yard looks so fun.
Yeah, so they will in those different feeders, the little houses, they can get in there under the roof when it rains. And it used to have plexiglass on both sides, but there's only plexiglass on one side because they managed to chew enough holes and knock it out. Now they can sit right in there under the roof. And then there's a few other feeders around, but this is sort of my area where I take the photos.
Yeah, wow, that looks amazing. Yeah, did you make all the feeders and things?
The top one on the tree, my husband made that one that's just a platform. And I also, I'll get you dizzy here. There's 2 more on a tree over there outside the fence. Yeah. When we bought this house, the backyard was fenced because the people before us had a dog. And now we've left the fence up because we have the deer that come visiting on a regular basis. Okay. And they would eat all the flowers. Yes, there he is. Yeah. So the deer would eat a lot of what's planted on the inside. But as you can see, not much is growing yet. Things are just barely coming out of the ground. It's been so cold and we've had snow and foolish weather. Yeah, it's not been very good. We'll try to keep an eye on it. Well, there he is again. Oh, see, look, doing what he was supposed to. Oh, no, never mind.
Yeah, they're so fast. Just
they are fast.
Yeah, it's amazing that you can take such amazing photos.
Well, when you go click, 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 you have to hope one of them, their eyes are open and that they're looking towards the camera. But, some days I might take 500 or 600 and end up with, 20 or 30 that are decent. And then I try to figure out which one is the best one. Sometimes I have 5 or 6 that I like, but.
Sure. Yeah. I read your book. And sometimes use the whole weekend, but you don't get any photos you like.
Yeah, sometimes. So it's kind of like people who go fishing. They stand by the river and they might get a fish and they might not.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's kind of like meditation though, isn't it? When you're just sitting and waiting, and you're not doing anything else, and you can avoid doing housework and say you're busy working. So it works good for me.
Yeah, totally. Same here.
Yeah.
So do you recognize them? Do they have names?
This year, no.
Okay.
Some years, like there's often one with half a tail or a little notch out of its ear, or some other distinguishing mark. But the ones that have been coming right now all look kind of alike.
Yeah.
So that's why I think they're still sort of young and they haven't beat each other up too much yet.
Yeah.
There is one female that has a broken wrist. Her little wrist just dangles, but it doesn't seem to bother her at all. And she seems to be nursing. So she's got babies somewhere. So I can't take her to a rehabber or anything. But she runs up and down the trees and she jumps up on the table and jumps down. And then when she's sitting still, she just lets that poor little wrist hang there. But other than that, she seems healthy as can be. And she doesn't seem to be bothered by it.
Yeah, so, squirrels are very strong.
I think so.
Yeah,
and they've got to battle nature every day.
I know a squirrel who doesn't have a paw, one paw and a tail. And she's also a mama squirrel. But she doesn't seem to care at all. Like she acts like she has perfect.
That's great.
Yes.
Yeah, they're pretty resourceful and that's neat. No, some years there have been some squirrels that were kind of unattractive, with just beat up looking faces, and I would spend the day trying to get photos.
Yeah.
And the ugly ones would keep coming and I kept saying, "Oh, you're not good for my picture." And then finally after hours, one of the little cute ones would come. But no, there was one, he had just big chunk out of his ear, a little notch out of his face. He was a scrapper. Yeah,
I know what you mean. Probably for non-squirrel lovers or people who don't know much about squirrels look the same. But once you know them, they're so different.
Oh, exactly. The first squirrel that I fell in love with was Mr. Peanuts. And he was the one that as soon as I would go outdoors and I would just say, "Peanuts, Peanuts," and he'd come running. So I'd say, "Well, that doesn't have to be your name." But he was very easy to recognize. There was just something about his face and his body, and I could just tell him apart from all the others. But the ones that are coming now, I'm not quite ready to name them because there's really, other than the one with the broken wrist, the little mama. But soon there'll be other little mamas, and then they'll all look alike. So it's like my deer. The deer come one day. There were 9, and I didn't even realize.
Wow, 9
in the neighborhood. Usually they'll come, like 3 will come, or 4, or 2. It was very strange to see them all together, but there was a few of them that I can definitely recognize, and then a little cluster of 3 that look a little different, and another cluster of 3 that have a difference also. So getting to know them too, so that's fun.
Sure.
Except they changed their look because right now they're all losing their fur. They're shedding their winter fur. So, and they're all really thin, so they all
True. So I read that the Mr. Peanuts was your first actor, and he brought his family, like kids.
Yes. Well, I say all his cousins too, right? But certainly his children. I imagine they were his children. Yeah.
Cool. I thought it was so amazing when I saw your book, 2 squirrels together, close to each other. It never happens here because it's they always try to fight and kick someone's away. So
sometimes, especially the younger ones, before they sort of gain this is my territory attitude, then they'll come and often sit together. So occasionally I'll get several, but they're so fast that it's hard to get two of them in focus. So sometimes I, snap the photos and then I have to blend two different photos together, because I'll have them sitting there, but one will be out of focus because he'll be turning his head, and then one might be in focus. So sometimes I do have to use a little Photoshop and blend them together. But this year I got 3 in one shot, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's awesome. And they were almost all in focus, which is really rare. But they were the little ones, right? So I think they're kind of still friendly. They're still, you're my brother, you're my sister. We like each other. That's my tree. Get off my tree.
Right. Yeah, I hear that red squirrels are the most chatty ones, aggressive and chatty.
They certainly make a lot of noise. I think they are more scrappy, I guess. You don't see many people that have a red squirrel as a pet. You see a lot of bigger squirrels as pets. And then somebody I was following on Facebook said they adopted a baby squirrel, and they had lots of squirrels before, but they kept saying, like, what's wrong with this squirrel? This squirrel is so scratchy. This squirrel is so wiggly. And as it got bigger, they realized it wasn't the same as all the other squirrels. It was a little red squirrel, and they said the personality was completely different. Okay, that's good to know. That explains why you guys can pat your squirrel and I can't pat my squirrel.
Interesting. I hear the fox squirrels are the most friendly ones, bold ones.
I think so. So. Certainly not the red ones. No, they're not.
Do you have only red squirrels or others visit too?
Well, in Nova Scotia, there are a couple of communities that have a few other squirrels. I've seen a black squirrel and a big gray squirrel at a marsh that I often go to with friends for bird photography. It's about an hour and a half away. And a few people have said there are gray squirrels in the area there, but they're not in this area, in Halifax area, as far as I know. But I also have flying squirrels.
I haven't seen them in person.
I never believed that they were here. Somebody told me they had seen flying squirrels. I said, oh, you're crazy. And then one night I was sitting at my computer, and motion sensor on my deck, the light came on, and I thought, that's kind of funny. Like, why would that come on so late? And I looked on the tree, and I thought, why would there be a squirrel out after dark? Because they're never out after dark. And so I snuck to the door, and I watched, and then it looked at me with these giant eyes and different ears. So of course I had to run and try to get the camera and try to get pictures. And then I learned I could listen. I could hear their voices and realize that they made a little beeping sound. So on a summer night, if I was in my office late with my window open and would hear the noise, then I could kind of grab the camera and run to the door and try to get photos. Oh, that was just the most exciting thing, because they're so cool. But hard to photograph, of course, because it's so dark.
I can imagine that.
And they're fast. But no, there were 4 one night.
Wow.
So I don't know where they go all the time.
Do they make similar sounds to squirrels?
No, they're silent. Like they're really quiet. But then in the trees, they almost make like a whistling sound. Like I realized I'd hear like a little whistle. And first I was hearing, I thought, well, it was birds. But then I realized I was hearing it when the flying squirrels were there. So one summer night, I sat on my chair on my deck, and I just sat there really still, and then they came down, and then I'd be sitting watching the bird feeder, and all of a sudden you'd see the zoop, and a flying squirrel would just come soaring from another tree onto the tree I was looking at, and it would just go so fast. It was just I was like, wow. And I just sat there for hours. I was just mesmerized. It was crazy.
Wow, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, but then I'd only see them maybe 3 times in August, and then I saw them once, I think, in the fall or the winter afterwards. I was quite surprised. Yeah, but I don't know if they're around all winter, or if they, I don't know if they hibernate like a chipmunk, or what they do.
Or migrate like birds.
No, I don't know.
Interesting.
No, they probably just nest in a tree somewhere. Like most of my squirrels have holes in the trees. It seems to be where they go to nest. and sometimes under the trees through the roots. If they can find a big hole in there, they go underground.
Oh, okay. It's different. Fox squirrels make nest on branches, not on a hole. Yeah.
Right. And our squirrels don't seem to do that at all.
Yeah, interesting.
They just find a hole in a tree where a branch broke off or whatever, and that's their spot. So you watch them; they'll take the peanuts, and then they go running up the tree, and poke them in the hole. And last week, there was a blue jay that kept following the squirrel, and then he would go and steal the peanuts. So squirrel was not impressed.
So you when you have like 6 squirrels, there must be some naughty ones, right?
They always want to. And so I have posted some photos lately where they end up in a fight, like they're just flying through the air at each other, just having a big battle. And the photo really in focus, but it's just kind of show how hard it is to get them cooperating, because they don't always cooperate. And sometimes they just destroy my set. They come in and then they just go like in a big ball fighting, and everything falls over. So I have to run and set it all up again. So that's always a little bit fun.
I posted about this on Twitter recently, but one of my balcony squirrels, Sunny, started climbing up on the fly screen and made some holes. So I asked the Twitter if they know the solution, and some said spraying cayenne pepper will help, or ammonia. But for me, just keep the blinds shut worked. Looks like when she can't see me, it doesn't bother me.
Yes, because I have one like here where I sit. I'll turn this around. My windowsill here, and it would come right on the other side of the, and it would see me. And that cute. All right, see, this one has a screen still on it, but I've taken this. So what I do when I take photos is I lift the window up, but I have a big piece of styrofoam with a hole cut out, and so when I open it, the camera pokes through the hole.
That's cool.
Not careful if I have the window open. Like one day I had the window open and I didn't have the styrofoam in because it wasn't clean. And the next thing there was a squirrel right on the other side, like waiting. I'm like, don't come in, please.
Oh, that's so cute.
Now I have a little woodpecker out there.
Oh, wow.
So it's just an old dead tree in a pot. And I get closer, so get some pictures.
Wow, beautiful.
With my good camera. But he seems to be just sitting there waiting for something. I put peanuts.
They eat peanuts too, right?
Oh, yeah. And I have one feeder. They eat the peanuts out of, but it's run out of without shells. So not impressed with me.
I hear lots of woodpecker sounds, but I don't see them actually.
I'm not seeing anybody lately.
Beautiful.
So that's a hairy woodpecker, and I also have downy woodpeckers. Yeah, it's branch. It's kind of all contraption together. Right. Yeah. So I had a few little props that were sitting on my couch.
Is that the newest one?
No, actually, this is a little set that was on the cover of.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And
that's awesome.
And then a friend made me this little camera with his 3D printer. So
really?
I had to have a subject. So I did do a picture where he took a picture of his teddy bear.
Oh.
And then, I don't know if you saw the coronavirus toilet paper thing.
Right.
And then the little bear with the kite. I'm hoping to put that one out tomorrow, I guess, and just see if I can get a squirrel to sit beside him. Yeah.
Wow, that's so fun. And I can see a squirrel there.
Oh, there's a big squirrel. And here's one. Often when I make a little set, it all comes apart, but for some reason I never took my bathroom apart. And you can see it's pretty rustic. It's just a cardboard box.
Wow. And, I remember the scene. Yeah, I love that it says, wash your paws.
Yeah, that one was fun. And,
yeah, wow.
Yeah,
So like for
yeah,
example, sorry, go ahead.
No, you. What were you gonna say?
So I was gonna ask, for example, that bathroom scene. How long
Yeah.
did it to take that whole scene?
To make it, you mean, or to get the photo?
To make it.
Well, that's a good question.
Because your work is so detailed. I'm so amazed.
The little thing here was like a little wooden box, and I just kind of carved in and added some nail heads and painted parts of it. And this is just a chunk of styrofoam and a little bit of cardboard.
Yeah.
And my little that was a soap pump. It's actually been it's all glue gunned on because they knock everything over. The taps and everything was all made out of self-hardening clay, but pieces break because they get a little too rambunctious. Yeah. And the little toilet didn't have a cover.
Wow.
So a bit of styrofoam, so it's kind of rustic. But when I was working, a student knew what I was up to, so he brought me that toilet. I think it was his sister's Barbie toilet. I think he stole it from her. But it was just the right size. Sometimes people give me things and they'll be too small. So I might have kind of worked on it just over 2 days. Some things,
2 days.
Some things are, a day I can put it together, and other things, I don't know. Like the day I decided to do the toilet paper, I was kind of like, how am I going to make little tiny rolls? Yeah. And I had a little roll of a little hard cardboard roll. So I just started cutting off paper towels and wrapping and gluing them. And a friend had sent me the little shopping cart. So
amazing. So you get these ideas comes naturally, or you think next?
Well, some days I run out of ideas, but like I started by doing a calendar, which was how I was just sort of taking pictures, but then I decided that a calendar would be a way for me to think of ideas. So if it was February, I could do something for Valentine's Day or something for Halloween or whatever. So going with the seasons helped give me ideas when I was running out of ideas.
Sure.
And so now I'm really excited because I have a calendar coming out. This one I was just making my own and getting them printed at Vistaprint, but now this one's being done with a publisher. And so this one comes out for 2021. Wow. And now they want one for 2022, but this one's 12 inches and they want, apparently the pre-sales were good, so they want a 12-inch one and then 12 different pictures for a 7-inch calendar. So
that's exciting.
Now I need different pictures. So yes, I've been busy. And this is the best time of year for taking the photos because pretty soon, there's a different woodpecker. I don't, there he goes. Hi. Oops, that's me being there. Yeah, he's
hello, big. I can imagine your fun life there. Always kind of wildlife visit you.
It's just so much. I just love it. We moved here to this house 3 years ago. So the house that I was in when we took all Mr. Peanut's photos, we moved from there to be closer to our grandkids. They're about 5 kilometers away, which is far too far these days when we can't get to see them. So closing it so far. But I came and I thought, well, the house has to have squirrels. So I kept asking the real estate person every time we look at a house, do they have squirrels?
I love that.
And then finally, one day we walked in the yard and there was a bird feeder still hanging up and there were some squirrels on it. I said, okay, at least there's a squirrel. At least there's one. But I didn't know that I'd be so lucky to get the deer and just lots of different birds and pheasants.
Pheasants?
Pheasants, great big colorful pheasants come and the other day there were 3 males, some days there's a bunch of females, so I'm expecting to see pheasant chicks soon. And there've been ducks have been landing in the yard lately. It's been raining so much and there've been big puddles, so pair of black ducks and a pair of mallard ducks. So they trot around and they all eat up sunflower seeds. Everybody eats whatever sunflower seeds are on the ground.
Yeah, true. So. You must be attracting.
So what do you feed your squirrels?
So I mainly feed them nuts and seeds, mainly peanuts, because they like roasted peanuts, no salt, and seeds mix includes some dried berries.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah.
Plus fresh fruit. My squirrels love grapes.
Mine will take grapes sometimes and strawberries sometimes, but they won't always. So kind of never really know. Yeah.
Interesting.
Somebody told me that peanuts are like French fries for squirrels.
Yeah, I love that too.
And I shouldn't give them too many, but that's what they come for. And I figure where they're wild, they can get their greens outdoors somewhere else.
Yeah, that's what I think. It is
fun
too.
To see them eat things.
Yeah. I can see how much they move around. So they use so much energy. So they need lots of calories. And
I'm sure.
I think peanuts is good. They know that it's good for them.
Right. Well, they can go and get like little bugs and seeds and roots. And I see them in the spring or in the fall. You know, you see them licking the sap off the tree branches. And
yeah, exactly.
Eating the bugs in the bark or wherever they also find. But one of them last year was eating the fuchsia blossoms off my fuchsia plant, eating the little berry part of the fuchsia blossoms. And it was the first time I saw that happen.
Yeah, they do that. It's cute, but I understand many people don't like squirrels because they miss their precious plants and things.
Yes, I've had a few flower pots that have been kind of ruined. They dig in the soil and bury their nuts or seeds, and then they eat something that looks quite tasty. But
same
flowers
here.
are
Yeah, we can't stop squirrels.
No, I do have a few friends who don't like squirrels. There were a few people when my first book came out, and I did signings in bookstores, and they'd come along and they asked me to sign the book for like their father. And I said, oh, does he like squirrels? No, he hates squirrels. This is going to be a good gift. So that was always kind of funny when somebody was like somebody who hated squirrels.
I know. Yeah, some people hate them. And I don't offend them. People have opinions. People have different taste. Yeah. But squirrels are so special for me.
Well, I guess if they broke into my house and my roof and got in my attic, I wouldn't be so happy. Or if they got in my car or something. But so far, so good.
Yeah.
And now I'm seeing, it looks like a small hawk.
Oh, really?
Oh, it is. It's flying overhead. Yeah. Oh, so all the squirrels will run and hide.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I don't see them very often, but one day I was there and it was like all kinds of noise with the birds and the squirrels, and all of a sudden it went silent. And I was like, what happened? And I went out and I looked, and there was a hawk flying around. So
there are owls around here too.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen an owl here, but they're probably around.
Also, there are cats around.
Yes, I think that might be what happened to the little paw, the squirrel with the broken paw. Yeah. I found little piles of feathers in the yard one morning. 3 little piles, and I think there were mourning doves. I have lots of mourning doves, and then we saw 2 stray cats around the same time. So that was discouraging. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for your time today.
Wonderful to talk to you.
Yeah, same here. I really enjoyed talking to you.
I don't go on Twitter on a regular basis. When I get on, I keep thinking, I find it so hard to find people. You know, it's just, there's so much, you have to scroll so far to find what somebody said. But I always like your videos. And
thank you. I'm so
your squirrels that are different than my squirrels. So that's always fun.
Thank you. Well, hopefully we can do this again.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
Well, thank you so much.
Nice. Thanks for the idea.
Oh, thank you. Have a squirrel-tastic day.
You too. And a school-tastic weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.
Okay, see you, Nancy.
Okay, bye.
My favorite part was where Nancy said how she checked for squirrels before she moved into her new house. That's my first priority too. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy my videos, I would love your support by giving a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you in advance. Have a squirrel-tastic day!